Back. It's a new week. Well, for Jimi Disu, that's right.
Yes, anyway.
Welcome to the program Dailies today here on Nigeria Info. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 on those two platforms. Thank you for joining us on there. Let's start with the Vanguard newspaper. Occupy Lekki Tollgate. Sanwo-Olu orders probe into alleged brutalization of protesters. Riders, LCC records over 2.5 billion naira losses from October 20, 2020 to February 13, 2021. That's according to the MD. Lekki Estate residents list conditions for reopening. That's the headline there.
Yeah, thank you. Morning, everybody. New week for me. Now, I'd just like to use this opportunity to make a few comments on the incident that took place on Saturday. The first is that, of course, we all knew that it would go the way it went. Some people would turn up. The numbers would be low, given the state of the nation. And the usual happened. Some people got arrested. The selfies went on. The videos went on, and so on and so forth. The governor has ordered probe into the alleged brutalization of protesters. That's what we normally do all the time. Protesters will always be brutalized. But the part that concerns me is this. Way back from when I was in university in the 70s, the Akitude Ojo, whatever, it has always been the same thing and the same result. And I'm going to repeat for the umpteenth time that activists need to go back to the drawing board. The fact that it happened in another country doesn't mean it's going to happen here. You must study your opponent, to use rather than use the word enemy. You must study your opponent and don't do things to fulfill all righteousness. I got some very funny remark that somebody said, oh, some people turned up to take selfies so they can take it to the embassy and they can get refugee status and so on and so forth, activist status. I don't know about that. But I just, when I heard was going to happen, to be honest with you, I was not moved one bit because I knew what the result would be. When in the military, you are told that sometimes when you want to fight a conventional war and you get to a point, then you get to use guerrilla tactics. Now, I'm not saying that anybody should go shooting anybody anywhere. But we need to find other ways of protest. And I'm sorry, I cannot say these things on air, But we need to look for other ways. Let's stop doing these things just to fulfill our righteousness. We can get into newspaper headlines and get international attention. You get what I'm saying? Let's think. If we know that we want a definite result, then we surely must do something rather than going at. And you see, you must look at the environment in which you operate before you do certain things. Nigeria is a country where the large population relies on daily subsistence. They rely on daily trade. And therefore, anything that would disrupt that is not likely to catch attention. Look at what happened on Saturday. Very sparse reaction. So those who have the genuine intention to turn things around have to think of another strategy. Now, to the toll gate, it is sad that the government would I'm talking about the toll gate itself now, irrespective of it being the place of crisis. Even the toll gate itself was highly insensitive. We kept thinking, I'm sure the government kept thinking of the income that would go to whichever company they gave the concession to. And in any case, with the rumors going on about who owns what, I honestly don't know. What I'm not sure of. But it was rather insensitive. It didn't make sense. Like I didn't see Patrick said, who is the transport specialist. You don't put a toll gate right bang in the middle of town. And I want you to sit back and imagine, from that toll gate all the way to Ekpe, anybody who wants to go in that direction has to be told. And I think it's unfair. Apart from being unfair, look at the tragic situation that you have traffic on a daily basis.
For some weird reasons, Jimmy, traffic is back on Lekki Ekpe. When they first removed the roundabout,
yes,
it was quite minimal traffic there.
Yes.
But now, I was in traffic until 12 a.m. on 2 days ago.
If you check properly, maybe there was a breakdown.
There was no breakdown.
Because yesterday, I was able to go as far as after Ugbe from Chevron area.
Even
smoothly in the evening.
What time in the evening?
About 3.
Oh wow! So I met traffic.
So,
I met traffic around 4.
were you telling me?
Going to no, I wasn't telling you. The traffic was so long.
No,
So long.
Something must have happened. There must have been the compromise around the Aja area. But what I can tell you is this: if you had those toll gates, it'd be 10 times worse. It is. I think the government should swallow its pride, think of the comfort of its people, find a way to compensate these people, and knock out that toll gate, and let's have a smooth city, for crying out loud. That is my advice this morning, and I'm almost begging on my knees. We cannot, with our own hands, inconvenience our own people.
They said we're using it to pay debt.
I don't know about that. Why did you want to use the toll to pay debt?
Well, because we borrowed money to build that road, to expand that road.
Oh, come on. Why did you, if it wasn't, let us call a spade a spade. If it wasn't the way that the state's resources are being handled, where 15% of your income goes to a particular company, how wouldn't you have to go and take a loan to do these things? Yeah. Who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? It's time for us to actually look at what is happening. Who is fooling who? It's only in this country that I have heard. I'm not saying maybe there are in other countries, that any commissioner of that nature would be up to 15%. Even the what do you call them, estate agents, I'm into property, they take 10%, 5%.
Right.
In which country would you take 15% for that kind of massive
project?
It's not done. Even the lawyers take 5%.
Yeah.
So
the bigger the project, the less.
So let's get real. The government does not have a sympathy on this. You cannot continue to make life inconvenient for people. Sheriff, you need to see the toll gates, to and fro. It is worse in the evening between 5 and 6. A man who has walked,
I know.
I
applied that route for years.
In the Koyi branch of GTB, and he's going home. Now it takes him 4-5 hours to go home. I can understand those of us who are in the Midland. We've been bound to the Philistines and made to suffer.
Right.
Why must you spread it around? But jokes apart, I think it is very insensitive and it is wicked. I call on the Lekki residents. I saw their release. I thought it was very mild.
Okay.
And this is not a time for diplomacy. Let us just do the Lekki one residents are the elite. What about the masses?
Yeah.
Who do not live in Lekki and live further down all the way down? Yes, go to Ekpe.
All of those places. Yeah.
I mean, it's not. We're just wicked to our own people. That's what. Nobody can convince me. And nobody should bring that boogie about finances. Because the finances in the state, we have a fair idea how far they have been compromised.
Okay, all right. We're going to move now. Let's go pick up the Vanguard newspaper. Let's look at this story here. Quite an interesting one. President aware of security situation. That's a story here. There's another one. Okay, people are reacting to it, as a matter of fact.
Is the presidential spokesman that says that he said on channels yesterday that the president is fully aware of the country's security situation and is working to ensure the safety of lives and property. Why do I then feel so unsafe? Can the president please tell me what exactly he's doing? I need somebody to give me that confidence that the people at the helm of affairs. And I don't say they don't know what they are doing, but I need somebody to give me that confidence. And he says that the president is more concerned about the ongoing situation and is fully conscious of the fact that it is the responsibility of his government to work with all this is rhetoric. We want to see an action plan. It doesn't have to be detailed. In fact, we don't want to see an action plan. We want to see action.
Yeah.
Because just as we got into the studio, what happened in Ibadan over the weekend is a very, very dangerous signal. Very, very dangerous signal. And I hope, but there are other stories here that show that some action is being taken by the state governors, by the way.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And he says that, but a Senate leader, Abaribe, said that the criminal headsmen were being treated with kid gloves. The NBA said that we live in a nation, the publicity secretary, we live in a nation without veritable statistics. Government officials reel out figures in the course of an argument, figures that are not from verifiable sources, but the government should be clear that the menace has reached an alarming height. All this came about because the NEF, Northern Elders Forum, PANDEF, MBF, Middle Belt, and Afenifere, ironically, all from all the zones, they are asking the government to produce the evidence of criminal herdsmen trial. The ACF asked specifically, where are they being tried that we don't hear of it? The government must be more honest with that. And Afenifere says, publish names of herders on trial anywhere in Nigeria. The impression, I'm not saying the impression is what it is, but you see, impressions perceptions are very dangerous. The perception is that government is not doing anything. Or to put it, if you want to put it in a more polite manner, it's not doing enough. And I think that the bigger problem is that the government has not found a way to induce confidence in his own people. Okay?
Right.
By now, like Professor Wole Soyinka said, the president should have addressed the nation, even if he's not going to address the nation formally, an interview or whatever, and that will discuss what exactly is being done.
Minority leader of the Senate also says that the president should come out and address the nation.
Yes, I mean, even if he doesn't want to address the nation, because some people will say if he addresses the nation, it might heighten tension. I don't believe in that. But at least he can have the president meet the press for 2 hours, on the network, and then give us an idea. All presidents in the world do that. Boris Johnson addresses his people almost every other day on COVID. You understand? That is to imbue confidence in them and carry them along. Leadership is mainly about perception. Your people must have that perception that yes, they can rely on you and you're doing the right thing and they're ready to follow you.
Indeed.
That seems to be missing.
All right, then. We're going to quickly pick up the Vanguard. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. I can see comments pouring in, Jimmy. Let's take one comment here. Lekon Drogba says, the claim of the government is that the protesters flouted the COVID rules. The COVID rules says more than 50 shouldn't be gathered. 40 people were arrested. How can they even justify this?
No, they can. And I'll tell you this. I remember when we were in university, I'm sorry I keep going back, we had this impression that once you sing the national anthem, the police must come to attention. So before we go for riot, we'd have we'd have a, what do you call it now, handkerchief soaked in water tower, we'll sing the national anthem and do, I just see a lack of strategy again in what took place last Saturday. For example, the government can come at you with all kinds of under all kinds of laws and be justified. One of them is what happened with this charging them for COVID. So the government can comfortably tell anybody in the world, no, we allowed them to protest, but they have breached the COVID rule and they have to pay for it. You should avoid such things. Freedom is not about bravado. It's about manipulating yourself to make sure that you get yourself heard and you get things changed. It's not about just the bravado part of it. If that is all there is to it, then I'm sorry.
Well, this is what Lekon said again. Lekon said we either practice democracy or we don't. There is no in between. Protest is constitutional. You can't make people suffer and tell them not to ask questions.
Protest is constitutional, but you are being told now that you've breached COVID rules. Why didn't you avoid it? I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm a protester. That you can see that in me. But I can tell you this. There is no day we go on whatever, you have an escape route. You understand? Because it's not the idea. I can't die for my country. Do you know why? If I die, I'll no longer be useful. Why should I waste my life?
You're not a patriot.
I'm a patriot.
You're not a patriot.
You're not a patriot.
You're not a patriot. You should say you can die for your country.
I can't die for my country.
You are not a patriot. You are not one of us. I'm a patriot.
Can you die for your country?
Yes, I can.
Sherry is going to kill me. You'll be the last.
Let's quickly move on. Let's go pick up. This is page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. Quite an interesting one here.
Yes.
Some Yoruba monarchs, leaders aid criminal headsmen. Agbekoya putting that out there.
Now, my reaction to this is very, very simple. It's very, very simple. Those people don't know that the Agbekoyas were the most feared organization in the 60s. They were the most feared. I don't know about now.
We heard the stories. I wasn't born then, but I've heard stories of.
They came as near as Mushin. I think they collaborated with Omokoko or something like that. It's an old story. I can't remember. But anyway, they claim that there's this gentleman called Isikilu Wakili, and he's the notorious leader of the criminal Fulani and so on and so forth, and he's being protected by a monarch. So I don't want to waste time by reading the details. If you want, you can go read the paper. But I'm hoping that the authorities have seen this. If they didn't know before, now they know, and moving very quickly to deal decisively with this situation. Moving very quickly. And it says that the traditional ruler of Ayete, Oba Shawu of Ayete, confirmed that Isikilu Wakili is still in Kajola village near via Ayete, and that there is little they could do because they are not in his land. The chief Omodofin of Ayete is his landlord. Chief Alao of Ayete, who is also the chairman of the Police Community Relations Committee, disclosed that Isikalu Wakili is still terrorizing farmers and innocent people, and so on and so forth. We hope we'll hear something on this.
Hopefully. But it's a strong allegation, though. It's a very strong one.
And the implications are far and wide.
Very strong one. Okay, so let's go to the Nation, page 25 of the Nation. Soldier ambassadors. President Buhari's nomination of retired service chiefs as envoys smacks of insensitivity to public opinion.
Well, this is a criticism of the president nominating service chiefs as ambassadors. And they put up an argument that with all the work that they had done, the ambassadors should be allowed to retire and go home. Funnily enough, I disagree with the Nation on this. The president can appoint whoever he chooses. And service chiefs are experienced people. So he might have certain countries that he wants them to go to because of the knowledge that they have. So let's give him a break. Let's see where they'll be posted. We might be able to fathom a reason why he would want his service. Some people have said it's to shield them from persecution, prosecution.
Right.
Not persecution. It's to shield them from. I don't know much about that, but it would be very embarrassing if President Buhari got involved in that. Rather, I would say that you sometimes need people with military experience in certain countries as the ambassador. And this is a much better appointment, with due respect to the previous ambassador to America.
Right.
This is more.
But why is that true, though? Because I would believe that this is a special task that diplomats are trained for.
It depends.
Why do you want to put a military personnel in another country?
A former military personnel.
A former, yeah.
Yes, because they are now civilians. Well, it depends for strategic reasons in certain countries. Look at the ambassadors of some other countries; they're retired military men. You know, for some reasons, you might want somebody who has a good knowledge of military, whatever it is. So the president has the right to choose whoever he loves. The people the service chiefs are retired.
Right.
They are now ordinary citizens. And let's give the president a break on this one. Let's see. But they say that the Nation says the people do not want General Olusegun and co, who had enjoyed extended tenure, to block others who are more deserving of the appointment. I also don't agree with that. Have you done a survey? I don't think the people are bothered. I think we have more things on our plate than to bother whether a service chief has been appointed ambassador or not.
Don't we have career ambassadors that could maybe...
No, you usually mix with political. It's done everywhere in the world. And the Nation says they should be allowed to go home and turn to their duties as fathers and grandfathers. Now the Nation is dragging... They've nullified the argument by going trivial. You know, when you write an editorial like this, you don't put in trivia. And they say that even though they were not the first to be appointed ambassadors, having been preceded in such role by the likes of Brigadier General Kurubo, who is the first chief of air staff, and of course Brigadier Ogundipe, who was who was appointed after Gawan came. He was appointed to be ambassador in the United Kingdom.
Right.
I don't want to split. I don't want to have an argument on this. There's far more important things. What delights me is, what gives me delight is that in the very first instance they've been replaced. So don't let's lose sleep over this, and let's cut the president some slack. He must know what he's doing.
Okay. All right then. We're going to pick up the punch now. High time. Here we go with this one here. Abiodun hosts 5 northern governors over herdsmen attacks today. Abiodun hosts 5 northern governors over herdsmen attacks today. That's Ogun State governor.
Well, I'm glad that Governor Abiodun is doing this. There's been recent reasons for worry in his state, and I'm also glad to know that he was the one who actually organized the meeting. He says, "I have called a stakeholders meeting tomorrow with my colleague governors who are Fulani and have people here. 5 governors are coming to Abeokuta from the northern states. We will call some of you to meet to discuss the matter." This is the way to go.
Right.
Yes, and I'd like to thank.
Three of the governors came in last night. They went to see Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State. They had a meeting with him, but they were having a town hall today. A town hall.
I think that's what you also have.
Oh yes. There you go.
Yes.
There you go. From front page, North governors in Ibadan over growing ethnic tensions.
Yes. We need peace in the land, and I'd like to again. Yesterday, I'd like to pay homage. Not yesterday, but I'd like to pay homage to one of our colleagues, Kadaria Ahmed, for her message to the media. I'd like our colleagues to read it, and read it devoid of other sentiments. Okay, this is a message that should come down to everybody. The media needs to lend a hand in bringing about peace. When I asked Sheriff this morning about what happened in Ibadan, his reaction frightened me. And those of us who were fairly old, not too old, but who knew what the Civil War was like, even from the battlefront. And God forbid, if there is any problem in this country, there will be no battlefront. You will have spots of trouble here and there. And I can assure you, it appears to me as if the armed forces themselves might not have the capacity. I think they've been stretched a bit too far.
Right.
So I'd like to call on our colleagues. By the way, on Saturday, Kadaria will be here, with me to let us discuss. It will also be our own contribution to making sure that the media does what is right in this regard.
Right.
It is very, very important. I would call on Alhaji Lai Mohammed to quickly set up some whatever it is on the government, so you can brief our senior colleagues and they can have a sensitivity of what is going on. What the danger ahead is devoid of politics. I mean, it's political, but the effects, like Kadaria said, would not be felt by. It would be felt by you and I, those of us who will be on the streets. So we need to have it at the back of our mind.
Right.
Be careful with what you write in the social media, please. Be extremely careful. Even with the kind of information you pass along. I got some videos of what was supposed to be the scene in Ibadan yesterday. I deleted it. I didn't pass it on. I didn't know if it was a movie. Maybe somebody was doing a movie of the Kiriji War or whatever it is. I didn't know what it was. Or it could have been something that took place in Rwanda.
Right.
So you need to be careful, please. Let's all be careful. Make sure that we are not manipulated to heighten tension.
Right, indeed. I'm going to take this comment from Yomi Williams on Facebook. It says, ordinary Nigerians haven't been living together peacefully for ages. But when few criminals crop up from an ethnic group and their leaders support them via unguarded utterances, even such as that of Shasha Market becomes inevitable. Leaders should watch it.
Yeah, it's right. Like Captain Blaze said, they owned it.
Yeah, they owned it. But we must go now, Jimmy. What's coming out at 9?
Adenusi Patrick. We are going to talk about the Apapa traffic.
Okay.
Yes.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I saw one headline yesterday about Apapa traffic saying it would take much more than law or something to clear that place.
It will take a very, very strong resolve on the part of government, because the buck stops on his table.
Right.
It will take a very strong and determined resolve on his part to solve that.
It's going to be stepping on a lot of toes if he
Yes,
wants to do that.
but unfortunately, my assessment of him so far is that he's always afraid to do that.
Okay, so we have to go, Jimmy. Thank you.
Okay, man.
Well, Jimmy, we'll be back here with Identity Patrick at 9. We'll be streaming live then on Daily Digest. In the meantime, we're going to take a break. Many thanks to our sponsors, MTN Nigeria. At 8, we'll continue our conversation on gun control. Are we ripe for it? Stay here.
Yellow. This is a public service announcement to our dear customers that don't have NIN or are yet to link their NIN to their MTN lines. As mandated by the NCC, MTN will be linking your national identification number, NIN, to the same registration information you have already provided to make the process easy for you. Here are 2 simple ways to get it done. Log on to my MTN app or dial *785*NIN#. If you don't have a NIN, visit www.nimc.gov.ng to find an enrollment center near you. If you have registered but can't remember your NIN, dial *346# with the phone number you registered at enrollment. Please remember, apart from your primary line, you must also link your NIN